Hi everybody. Well, it's good to be with you. I have a very serious issue to discuss with you today. There is a teaching going around that Jesus is now our tithe. So tithing is not for today. Tithing is not for the New Testament believers because Jesus is our tithe. Now, I made a few notes of what these people are saying. And number one, they say that tithes was always food. Now, let me start off with this. The mistake they make is they take tithing under the law and then they apply it to today. Okay, we don't tithe under the law. We tithe to Melchizedek, like Abraham did. And if you go and look in Genesis 14, what did they take from Lot, Abraham's nephew? They took all his goods, and the word there is goods, the word there is riches, okay, substance, and possessions. Okay, so that is not just food. So Abraham went, and the Bible says he brought all the goods that was taken. He brought all the goods back. So again, that word goods is riches or substance or possessions or goods. The Strong's Concordance gives the two words riches or goods. So that is not food, my friend. So that's the first mistake they make in say that tithing was only food. Maybe under the law it was only food, but we don't tithe under the law. We tithe like Abraham to Melchizedek, according to Hebrews chapter 7. The second thing that they say is the tithe is eaten by the people who bring it. Now if you read Malachi chapter 3, there is absolutely no hint of the people going to eat their tithes. They must bring their tithes to the storehouse, that there may be meat in God's house. Talking about the priests, the people who minister, that they will have food because they were not allowed to eat. So it's wrong to say that it must be eaten by the people who bring their tithes. They must bring their tithes and they must eat their tithes. That's not true. Not all the tithing was like that, but again, that is under the law. So we're not under the law tithing. When Abraham gave his tithes to Melchizedek, he did not eat it. He gave it to Melchizedek. And Melchizedek blessed him. And why did he give it to Melchizedek? Because Melchizedek preached the gospel to him by bringing him bread and wine. And his response to the gospel, his response to the goodness of God, was to bring a tithe, to give a tithe. And that is how we tithe. That is our response to the gospel. That is our response to what Jesus has done for us. I mean, we bring our tithe. Tithe of our substance, tithe of our riches, tithe of what we earn. We bring it to the storehouse so that the local church can function, that the ministers, the pastors, I mean, if the ministers and pastors must work a full day job like you, what will cause them to have more word knowledge than you? Because they have as little time in the word as you have as a person who work. So that is God's system to sustain the priests, if you can call it like that, but it's not priest now, it's the fivefold gifting to sustain them, to do the work of the ministry, or to prepare you for the work of the ministry, but they need to prepare, they need to get enough word and enough time with God to feed you. That's God's system. Okay, the next point I want to make. Now, the next point says, this is what one of the preachers said. The same word is used in Deuteronomy 14:26. That says household, as the word that is used in Malachi chapter 3, the storehouse. Now that's a lie. That's a lie right there. That's not true. The Greek, the number of the Hebrew number of the word is 1004. Now, in the storehouse in Malachi also is 1004, but there's another number. There's two words. There are two words in Malachi. The next word, the number is 214. And that makes it clear that it is God's storehouse. So people, listen to me. These people are busy deceiving you. They're throwing stuff out that is not even there. And the next point is going to really shock you. That's even worse. But what I want you to see is these people deceive you. They say stuff like this, and it's not true. It's a lie. The household in Deuteronomy 12, Deuteronomy 14, verse 26. It's not the same word as storehouse in Malachi. Malachi has two Hebrew words there. Deuteronomy has only one Hebrew word there. So that's deception. It's coming from the devil, like this whole teaching is coming from the devil. Why? Because he wants to rob the local churches, and he wants to rob you of your blessing. I cannot even begin to tell you how blessed I am because I'm tithing. It's because of God's grace, yes, I agree. But God has certain principles, and I want to tell you, I was struggling along in life. I always tell people the cockroaches left my house because there was nothing to eat. And the poor people called me poor. That's how bad it was. I stayed in one of the worst areas in Johannesburg. And when I started tithing, everything started turning around, and God blessed me like you cannot believe. Tremendous blessings that came into my life.